Part 10. It's rainy and miserable and dark and nasty. But hey, we get to play some FF12. Got a nice cup of coffee with me. I want to say thanks again to everybody who's watching the series as we go along here. I actually just yesterday started posting and talking about this on YouTube. I'm very nervous about how people are taking it. But so yes, our plan today, we've got a lot going on. This is where the game can actually start to get quite overwhelming. And realistically, I should have written down a proper notes list of different things for me to do here. But I'm sure we'll be fine. First things first, I want to kill the Thextera. Let's actually deal with that. So we're going to go to the Moogling and take it to the West Gate, which we've never actually been. We went to the South Gate, took us to Giza. East Gate was the first one. West Gate we never traveled to. And, well, this is actually going to be an important gate for us because this is where the Rabanasta Aerodrome is. Oh, yes, you can catch airships and fly them if you've got the money. And, well, we do have money now. You know, 2,000 gil, it's not too bad. It also opens to the westerly areas outside of Rabanasta. Even more chocobos and Gurdy magically appearing again. This adventure says the Wester Sand can be harsh, boy. Get a good sandstorm stirred up, you can't hardly see your hand in front of your face. What's worse, elementals favor the storms, and you don't want to tangle with one of those. So be sure to mind the weather before heading out. So elementals are kind of special enemies you'll find roaming around the wilderness that are really deadly. Very powerful magics going on there. Magics are like so well fleshed out and detailed in FF12, it's nuts. Here's the Wester Sand. We only have Varn with us right now. He's getting this job done because he feels bad. He's been away at the Barheim Passage for ages. Do you remember earlier I mentioned with Dantro that if you don't cash in the Rogue Tomato nice and early, then it will be ages before you can? Yeah, that's because you get shipped off to Naubana. And if you do it now, he says, Jesus, Varn, that took you long enough. And really, it just comes down to, do you go straight into Lowtown to meet old Dalan and then get distracted with all the Giza stuff, or do you remember? You know, do you remember to actually cash it in? I think it's a lot to ask new players to remember because they are going to mostly be going through the motions. FF12 was just so open, and especially coming out of 10. Now, I haven't really talked about this too much, but, and especially if you guys have seen my gameplay series on that, you'll know that that game was much more linear, much more focused on specific little character interactions, and then all of a sudden, so your inclination in 12 is going to be to expect this game's format to be the same. I mean, it certainly was for me, and then it just totally wasn't. So, yeah, easily missed, but we did manage to do it in the videos. So anyway, we've just traveled through the Galtea Downs, and let's remind ourselves, in the clan primer for the hunts, the Wolf in the Waste is located here. Oh god, I'm going the slight wrong way. I do want to point out a cool little thing, though, with a rare game. I'm pretty sure it's through here. Let's have a quick look, and we'll be coming here later. This is something fun. Oh my god, is he there? Oh, I guess I did change this one. I guess I did. All right, so we are in a tiny little area that's sealed off. Can you see here the shimmering horizons? This is actually a larger map, but to get to the larger map up that cliff, you got to go on a long adventure. It's not near here. Well, I say a long adventure. I think you just go up a few maps around. But basically, this is an isolated section. If you chain wolves, like a ton of wolves, this rare game can spawn. Now, he's not who we're hunting, but that's called the Lindbergh Wolf. You'll see he has auto haste. He's very big. He's very scary looking. He will probably kill me. Let's throw one of these Libra motes. Now, I kind of want to cling to this. Actually, I'm not going to throw the Libra mote. Basically, he'll beat us as just Varn. This is one of those things, though, at the very beginning of the game, you can come here. Come here, chain a bunch of wolves. He will spawn. I've made it so he spawns easily for me in the videos. And if you steal from him, you've got a very rare chance to steal some amazing gear. It's called the Gladius. It's a sword. And if you get that Gladius right at the beginning, I mean, honestly, guys, you'll just, like, destroy. You'll annihilate everything. The Gladius is an OP weapon even for me now, after we've done all the Barheim Passage stuff. It's really, really, really strong. So anyway, there's that. Now, we are instead looking for this wolf right here. This is the Thextera. So these wolves in this area, right, guys? I guess we'll focus on the little one first, and I think Varn should be okay. This is, after all, the first hunt in the game. I mean, the Rogue Tomato is the first, but he's also a part of the main story, so, you know, I don't think he should be too bad. There you go, look, he did 18 damage to us. We're fine. We get a good little counter there as well. We should see our counter rate climbing as we go through. I'm pretty sure that's based on speed. We'll just deal with his little friends. I think he has an ability where he cries for help and he gets more wolves in. Because some enemies will do that. They'll spawn allies. Like we saw the Mimic Queen spawning allies a second ago. But I think taking our time is a good idea. Now, usually when you're doing a hunt, it will only exist while the hunt's going on. They're not like regular enemies. So it's very smart to steal. This is our last potion here. It's very smart to steal from hunts, because you might never get that opportunity coming back. In fact, by the way, I'm absolutely terrified right now. He might beat us. Varn couldn't steal. We only have 1 potion, guys. Do we have a high potion? We do have high potion. Do I really want to spend a high potion on this? Oh no, this is not meant to be a big part of the video. Varn, actually steal, please. A pebble. Okay. So let's talk about pebbles. Pebbles are the ultimate joke loot in this game. If I go to my inventory, I will show you loot, pebble. A common, featureless stone with a pleasing colour and shape, the kind treasured by small children. These sell for a whopping, I think it's 1 gil. It's either 1 gil or 10 gil. They're worth nothing. And in vanilla, when you poach, you pretty much just always getting pebbles. Nearly always getting pebbles. So, yeah, that was a waste of time trying to steal from him. God, that's annoying. He might beat us. I will throw a high potion, I guess. Let's see what we've got. I didn't really want to hit him too... well, hold on. Let's play the game properly. Let's blind him. Oh, God. 20. Okay, he's blinded. And now let's slow him. He might even be vulnerable to immobilize, in which case I could do something very clever if I have a ranged weapon. There you go. He's blinded. He's slowed. We're critical HP. Yeah, let's do this. Let's high potion. All right, now we should just be able to beat him up. The proportion of his attacks that land on us now should be really, really, really low. So let's just see what we've got. The other thing we can do now that he's already silenced, we can mid-battle swap to the other dagger, which attacks a lot quicker. Oh god, he has Poison Strike. I'm going to get rid of that right away, because it looks like it's a low chance. So here he's using Saber. I think that ability only unlocks as he gets lower. Not actually sure what that did there. Did he miss with it? He might have missed, which would be very good for us. See, if we came here with Basch and Fran and Balthea at the end of the last part, we would have destroyed him. Hold on, did the blind leave? No, just the visual effects change. There you go, down he goes. Nice! That was actually a worthwhile fight. I'm really happy with how that went, because usually the Thextera is just like you blink and you miss it. There you go, the first optional bounty complete. So by the way, you see the Mooglings, the Moogles at the Moogling. They all have different coloured outfits based on where they're standing. The one we just spoke to is called Sorbet. Very, very, very cute. Okay, wait, where's the Sansi? All right, in here. And while we're at it, we can have a look at the bounty board, which will have updated with some new marks for us, which Van's probably not going to be able to handle. But first of all, hey, Gatsley. It's been a while, man. You did it. You brought down the Thextera. Thank you so much. You've saved me and my wife. This isn't much, but I want you to have it for helping us out. So there you go. We get a new hat, teleport stone, 500 gil. Good stuff. Well, it's time I headed back to my shop. Say, you should stop by sometime. Maybe I'll have a little something for you. I'm afraid it won't be much, so don't go too far out of your way. But if you happen to be near the bazaar, say hello. Agreed? Well, that's where we were a second ago. We could go see him. So 2 new ones. The flowering cactoid. Do you guys remember in the bestiary? It was mentioned that sometimes they can have flowers on their heads. A spiteful beast threatens desert travelers and now fixes its gaze upon our humble camp. We can ignore this threat no longer. Hunters to arms. So we'll collect this. But here's the thing, the petitioner is not in the Sandsea. The petitioner is back over at that outpost we were at earlier. So we'll collect it, but we won't worry about it just yet. Now there's this one, this ghost from Milha. One of the children saw a ghost. Now he's so frightened he's locked himself in an abandoned house. Please come as soon as you can. Now this is a lady in Lowtown. And do you remember that locked house that I showed you? Well, it's all coming together, as you can see. Also, really nice. Look who's up here. Not Imperials, it's Balthea and Fran. So they may have left our party, but you can still come find them in Rabanasta. I believe our business is finished, yes? Hadn't you better say hello to all your little friends? She must worry for you. Balthea's handkerchief may dry her tears, but it cannot console her. That's right, I'd prefer to get that back with as few tear stains as possible. Better hurry. I mean, honestly, I honestly thought that he'd hidden the Magicite in there. I really did. Surely you have somewhere else you should be. Does no one await your return? Wow, the snark there from Fran. Okay, so, yeah, and they're so sarcastic with the friggin' italics there. Right, now we are rank 2. I am going to go back to the bazaar via the Moogling. And I kind of wanted this done in the last part. 2 things. First of all, do you remember Gatsley's wife was standing here. We spoke to her and she said, oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, lovely recap there from me. Well, here's Gatsley again. And he says, oh, hello. I wanted to thank you for your help. Our shipment arrived safely and business has been brisk. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten our arrangement. Go to a nearby shop, any will do, and look in the Bazaar goods. I put together a little something from the goods we received. You shouldn't have any trouble finding it. So, that has unlocked something new for us. We can go to the clan provisioner. Step right up, lad. Let's see for your rank. Well, we can now buy oil, the green magic. Turbocharges fire damage. That was obviously also available in Barheim, but we can't really get back there easily. Here's oil as a green magic. Pretty nice. Now, decoy is also very good, but I will get it later in the game as it's rather pricey. So that's our new reward there. Then also at the Bazaar, look at this. 18,000 gil. A forgotten grimoire. Text dating from antiquity, prescribing tactics and guidance to those who would walk a given path. Now, what the hell is this? So, there's a collection of items called grimoires in the game. And basically, they're key items that you will only get here in the Bazaar. Once you buy them and possess the key item, it expands the drops that enemies have. So, you know that pebble we got earlier? Well, if you get a grimoire for a certain genus of enemy, like wolves, if you have the correct grimoire for the wolves, then they will drop extra loot, usually stuff exactly like pebbles. So, yeah, they are worthwhile getting. Now, this is how you get this grimoire. There's also a special item called a canopic jar that we'll deal with later, which is kind of a similar thing. All the other grimoires are unlocked in a very weird way that once you learn how they're unlocked, it seems totally pointless and stupid. But if you don't know how they're unlocked, it's kind of fun, I suppose. And that is, every time you go to a shop, a counter sneakily in the background of the game ticks up. 1, 2, 3 shop visits, 4 shop visits, 5, and so on. When you hit 20... So if you go to a magic shop 20 times, or a regular shop 20 times, or a gambit shop 20 times, these new things will appear on the Bazaar. And the idea is that they'll like randomly appear. You don't have control unless you know how it works. Again, that's what Final Fantasy XII was all about, not having control. Which is why it's so stupid this new update allows us to change our classes and stuff. You're not supposed to be able to go back on those decisions. Anyway, he's happy we killed the Thextera, I guess, there. Keep up the splendid work. Good stuff. Almost skipped past it here. Look at that. We get 2 warp motes as a reward. That spell, Warp, is a really high-level ability associated with the arcane dark magic tree. And we just got 2 casts of it early. That'll be useful later. So, yeah, that's the way that works. And a lot of people are insane and they do the 20 shop visits early on and stuff. I could have modded that out if I really wanted, but I've left it as it is. That's vanilla, and we'll just see when they unlock for us. We'll just see. I'm not going to do that. And besides, they cost so much gil anyway, even if you unlock them in the Bazaar. Like, how are you going to buy them without doing cheesy stuff? So, any new marks, Mont Blanc? I'm not a moppet anymore. Ah, there are. So, these are the hardcore ones, remember? First of all, the Cluckatrice. Not a cockatrice. A Cluckatrice. A horrible monster has come to the plains, terrorizing our poor cockatrices. Something must be done. Come to our village at all haste. Will you speak to the petitioner, Kupo? Indeed. And count on you, Kupo. Remember, I'm just an intermediary. You'll have to speak to the petitioner. Now then, let me tell you where they are. Okay, Kupo. That's Mont Blanc in a nutshell. That's all the Moogles in a nutshell. So yeah, that's over at the pen, remember? We call the vilest of the vile marks elite marks, Kupo. My dream is to see each and every last elite mark fall before the swords of the clan. So your expectation might be that they slowly build the marks up in strength as you get access to them. No, Final Fantasy XII doesn't do that. It's happy to throw a really hard mark at you really early that will catch you off guard. Same as putting a T-Rex in the starting zone, for example. And I like that. I think it's really authentic. Here's another one. The Rock Twice. Now, this is from someone called Pilica in Bhujerba. Now, we don't know what any of that is. I have been secretly raising a pet, but I'm afraid I've gotten more than I bargained for, Kupo. Oh, sounds like the petitioner is a Moogle as well. I'll be waiting at the Kuz Skyground in Bhujerba. Will you go and speak to the petitioner, Kupo? You'll sign on to the hunt. I'm counting on you, Kupo. If you want to know the details, this confirms the contract. I'll show you where they might be found, Kupo. The elite marks, Kupo. All right, there you go. So, let's have a look here. for our hunts. Check it out. 2 regular ones, 2 hardcore ones. Now, each has a rank as well. I kind of hate the rank system because this is an elite mark, but it's a rank 1 elite mark. This guy is... Oh, I guess they're all rank 1. But later, you'll find like a rank 3 mark that is actually easier than a rank 1 because the rank 1 happened to be elite. Does that make sense? So, yeah, kind of tricky, but hey, there you have it. Oh, also... Our bestiary's updated with a new variety... Oh, we've finished the wolves now, so we can learn about the Ester Sand. One of the large desert regions of Dalmasca, located to the east of Rabanasta, rife with all manner of monstrous beasts, it regularly plays host to hunts organised within the city. What settlements there are line the banks of the river Nebra, a vibrant blue vein running through the heart of the sands, wherein can be found ferries for the conveyance of travellers and goods across her flow. Many merchants make a point of stopping in the villages to trade on their way to and from Rabanasta. So that's nice. Don't worry about all these other ones, but I did just want to quickly show you the Mimic Queen, who we just beat. One of the gregarious hordes of mimics. The Queen alone possesses the ability to reproduce. Her egg-laying capabilities being truly astounding, she has been known to lay over 100 eggs in a single day. The eggs, already quickened within their mother, hatch with little delay into creatures known as tiny batteries, creating a veritable army overnight. Such is a day in the life of the Queen, and she will have very many of them, for queens can remain fertile for several hundreds of years. You know how in the previous part I mentioned they like combined the idea of a mimic that hides his chest with an electrical thing? Well, they've also combined it with the idea of like a Zergy swarmy thing. They're all separate concepts, Square. Anyway, here's the big old wolf. What changes can sudden mutation work on something as common and otherwise unremarkable as a wolf? It is thought that a diet of creatures rich in mist caused these mutations, though little is known for certain. Recent attacks on mercantile caravans inspired a concerned merchant to post a bill for the mark. So that's kind of nice because it ties into what we read before about wolves mutating because they eat monsters. Right, I think that's enough side stuff here. Let's now go to find Penelo, who has been waiting very patiently for us somewhere, maybe. I'm sure she's not going to be happy to find that she was not our first priority when we returned. But we'll go tell Dalan that we've got this Magicite, and as cool as it is, we want some big bucks. Or I assume that's what Varn wants. I'll see you guys down at his shop. Even if that means we skip Lowtown with the beautiful music. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's the only bit, really, of the song I like. Alright, hey, Dalan.
Well, well, look who we have here. Heard you were sent off to Nalpina.
And I got out of there as fast as I could. But it was all worth it, Dalan. Here, look at this.
My. Quite a treasure you've got there.
Well, you know, I couldn't have done it without your help.
So, there is more to this gutter churl than first meets the eye. Varn, I've an errand, a simple favor to beg of you. I was going to ask that kites to go, but I should think that you ought to do. No, I think you're just the one. There's a fellow by the name of Azalas, and I need you to bring this sword to him.
That's a sword of the old order.
Speak my name when you arrive. That should be enough to get you in to see him. I've made a note on your map showing you where he can be found. Mind you, you are to deliver the sword to him personally.
I will.
And so it is done. But will it be enough to remind him of what the order once meant?
So, Dalan seems to have his fingers in some real pies here, some allegiance that we don't understand. A sword signifying a place among the order of the Knights of Dalmasca. Dalan has tasked you with its delivery. Right, we're only going to have that key item for a couple of seconds. That cutscene there is really interesting because this really kind of sets the Varn on a path here that he otherwise might not have gone on. And it's crazy because Dalan said that he was going to send kites. In fact, that's not the first time. We keep hearing about kites getting to do stuff. What? I think this just plays even more into this idea that, like, is our viewpoint character really the be-all and end-all? Because at so many junctures, it feels like someone else could have been the lead, you know, in theory, as far as we're concerned playing the game. Oh, here's the lady. We may as well speak to her. And it's deliberate. It's to show everyone has their own lives and paths. You've come about the bill. Wonderful. I just started to think I'd posted it in vain. I'll not mince words. A child has shut himself inside this house because he's frightened of a ghost he says he saw in the neighborhood. He said he'd come out if I got rid of this ghost, so I went looking for it. To humor him, you see. Imagine my surprise when I found it was real. There's no way I could deal with it on my own, so I needed to call in a hunter. Will you kill the ghost for me? Thank you so much. I saw this ghost, and I actually said, will you hunt the ghost, which I think is kind of clever. It's in the waterway just through Storehouse 5. It's an apparition called a wraith, and I think it came to avenge the cruel slaying of rats and other poor denizens of the waterway. I'm not pointing fingers. It really doesn't matter who did these things, but this apparition is here, and it must be dealt with. I'll leave it to you. Yeah, this is amazing. When you beat this hunt, you can read in the bestiary how it formed because of all the souls of the rats that we've been slaughtering. It's great. I love those little touches in this game. It is going to absolutely hand our ass to us if we try to do it alone on Vaan. And it's not far away, though, by the way. This is Storehouse 5. It's right through this door. It's right at the entrance of the sewers. It's a very simple hunt, realistically, in terms of getting to it and stuff, which is nice. You know, you don't want to overload the player too much early on, but we will need to be stronger to take it out. So I'm not going to worry just yet. Now, as far as Dalan's map was concerned, oh, I came to the wrong area. I knew it was in a dead end like this. But obviously, Lowtown is bigger than even where we get to explore. As cool as it is, like, look at these windows up there. I love the idea of standing on that balcony. You see that up there? Oh, why am I so immersed by this place? I don't know, man. What do you have to say? Vain. Oh, that new console, what just come? The whole lot of them are the same to me. Oink. Sure they are. So yeah, we're going to come around here and... Oh, no, not around here. Around on the dead end on the right here. Careful, listener. Told us how we came to live underground. They told me we used to live above ground. My house was up there too, but I don't remember. Then there was that war against the Empire and Dalmasca lost, so that made us be under control of the Empire too. So when the Imperials came to Rabanastre, they ordered everyone down here. They let us do what we want, I guess. They just won't let us live where we want. Something about keeping their control on us. Do you want to hear the rest? Well, it's not totally impossible to live in the sea, even for Dalmascans. It just takes a whole lot of money, way more than I got. It's not all bad on Lowtown. At least there aren't any Imperials down here. Maybe they just stay out so we'll think it's better down here than it is. I mean, if something happens, it's a lot easier for them to round us all up if we're already rounded up. It makes sense, doesn't it? The grown-ups say I'm just being annoyed. Whatever that means. Sorry for talking so much. I done listen to everyone to learn all that. Subjugation through money. I don't like the thought of these guys getting gassed out or something. Some kind of magical disaster. So, we could have seen this ages ago. It clearly looks like there's a hidden room back there, right? And I love the idea of reading that sign. But we could never do it. Now we can speak to the guy in the box, though. And he says, Vaan says, I'm supposed to deliver something to a man. Name of Arzelus? This is the place, right? And who was it that told you that? Says Balzac. What a name, by the way. Balzac. All right. Oh, Dalan. He said I have to give this to him personally. Does nothing get past that Dalan? He has ears in every wall. Dalan almost feels like omniscient to me, especially the way he keeps teaching you stuff 12 times throughout the story. Sadly, this guy isn't voice acted. You remember earlier, Tomage and stuff were voice acted? Quickly, that stops happening for minor characters. We'll be reading it ourselves. It's a big difference between this game and 10, which gave voices to so many minors. All right, get inside, but not a word of what you see or hear in there. You got that? So this is gonna be the resistance in here, guys.
Then what do you make of Andor's proclamation? Are you suggesting they fooled even the Marquis?
What if a judge killed the king, not the captain? That would explain everything, wouldn't it?
In that case, the captain would be brother to a judge. How are we to trust such a man?
Now there is the Basch that I remember.
Then will you fight again at my side? His word alone convinces me of nothing.
I'd take his word over that of a mouthpiece Marquis.
Then you name Rex liar with him.
My brother was no liar!
Just the opposite. Rex was the witness they needed. They had to make it appear as if I killed the king. Rex bears no blame. The fates have willed it.
Another coincidence.
So this is Rex's brother. Your words may convince a child such as this, but they weigh far too lightly on the scales for my taste. Our past will remain separate.
Do you not think Amalia worth saving?
Her again. See that important?
I hold men's lives in my hands. I must see foes in every shadow. The night we moved against Vane, he knew. I will not chance such disadvantage again. I must treat you as I would Ondor, as I would treat any abettor of the Empire.
Then what will you do? Hold me here in chains? Some things never change, do they?
Listen to me, Basch. Your cage may have no bars, but it is a cage. The eyes of the Resistance watch unblinking.
Let them watch. I know something of cages.
God, I love the idea of a fallen knight. By the way, Arzalus, that's Vossler. He's called Vossler York Arzalus. That's his full name.
That's right. Amalia's in the Resistance.
Then you know her.
Sorta. We met just before we got sent to Nalbina. I've known nicer people.
Our paths keep crossing, yours and mine. It's more than coincidence.
It's annoying.
Fate?
I'm sorry. Allow me one last annoyance, a favor to ask. I want you to take me to Balthier. Even caged birds need wings.
This makes us even.
Even?
For Nalbina. We couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, once you picked up a sword. Basch joins the party, not a guest. He's a full-on party member here. So, we get to give him a job and everything. Wow, so hold on. Basch is not in favor with the Resistance. And to be honest, I agree with Vossler, all right? I really do. It's been years, and it really does seem to make sense that Basch might have killed the king. And he has to be very careful, you know? But Vossler did just get Amalia lost, I suppose. I mean, everyone seems very interested in her. Right, Basch wants us to get to an airship. And I can tell you why. It's because of Ondor, who has been mentioned so much. And we heard his voice at the beginning, but it's been a while, right? So, before we deal with all of that, let's give Basch his job. And I'm going to give him the Knight. Of course, focuses on striking down enemies with an array of weapons while defending one's own allies from harm. So Basch is going to be like this big, tanky badass out on the front line. And he's going to be really good with buffs. So, let's have a look at his board. A beautiful thing to behold. Let's give him a gambit slot. We do want to be a little bit careful here. So, we can give him swords 1, which you notice has a ton of swords on it. We're pretty much just getting out of those, though, now. So, but it's very cheap, so I'll just pick it up anyway. Swords 3. Wait, where's swords 2 for him? Oh, we've already got swords 2. We started with swords 2. We never bought any from the shop yet, but there you go. I guess I'll hold off with that for now. Let's go heavy armor 2. Let's make sure he's got some health as well. I mean, it's pretty cheap as well to grab some of these. We can make sure he's working on some accessories. We can also, like Vaan, give him a shield. Now, some of his weapons are two-handed, some of them are one-handed, so you want to be a little bit careful about that. There's the battle harness, so he's going to be like a counter god if we give him that. So that's what I'm most excited about right now. We still got 79 points left. Not too many, though. We can give him the... He's going to be like a paladin, kind of... There's some white mage on him. White magic on him. So he can cure and actually cleanse blind off of all of us. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And... Ooh... What else do we want to do with him? Protect and shell, they're good, but we'll get those later. Let's just give him even more health. So you're going to see his health's really high. Over on Vaan as well, he's got a good amount of points. We don't need to give him more daggers. We'll give him a little bit more strength. Light armor 3 will become available soon, I think. Let's give him the poison immunity. Do you remember that? That's going to be good. And another gambit slot, which we can set up. I'll start doing a lot of the gambit stuff off screen. But Vaan can also learn Poach now, which will be very useful for some of the rare game. We do have to buy the skill from the people in Giza, though. So I'll hold off. We'll give him first aid. That would have helped him against the Thextera a second ago. And a nice gambit slot here. Now, if I browse just a little bit ahead, you'll see that there's a very weird license here called the Red Spiral. Now, that is like an ultimate ability for Vaan. That is what I'm really going to start focusing on going towards now. It's going to cost us 50 points, and it's a super special cinematic skill. Do you remember right at the beginning of the game how Basch destroyed the air cutter Remora with a super cool animation? Well, that was this here called Fulminating Darkness, and his is here. And so there's a lot of fun stuff going on with the license board, which we can start looking at soon. So I'm going to put him into the party now. You can choose how you want to do this. If you just want to play as Basch out on the field, then you can put Vaan away. Or you can, you know, pull just Vaan out. We only have 2 people here, so we're just going to do that. Okay, good. Now, that still doesn't help us with Pinello. We're being told if we were a tired, thirsty sky pirate, where would we be? Well, we already know. We already saw Balthier, didn't we, a moment ago? I'm going to show you guys that ghost fight while we're down here. I think that's going to be really, really useful for you guys to see a new mechanic that's coming in. And it's a status debuff that is really deadly. And now, Square Enix put it onto this fight. Oh, God, I've gone the wrong way again. But there's a potion here this time. That's nice. Looks like another stairway up. Did you see that, too? Square put it onto the fight, but it was kind of very weak in vanilla. Now, especially with the struggle for freedom, it's super strong. So let's head on down here, and we will find our ghost. This is going to be the area we fought the rats and the fire main, and now there's even another boss, an optional one. And we're actually both a little bit weak. Look at that. Basch is still weak, even though he totally left the party and came back. So if we stand here and wait, that gate can now be opened, by the way. For the first time, we can choose to swing it open and close it. Oh, it's a whole zone transition, isn't it? My bad. It's a whole zone transition. In fact, coming down here now, you'll see that things have changed. There's a whole puzzle you can do here. This is good, actually, so Crystal. There's a whole puzzle you can do here, and a bunch of the doors have opened. A lot more to learn. That will be for way later in the day, don't worry. I have a very specific part of the story I want to get to. That the last part, I wanted to end there. You know, I've had an idea. It's like, if I can just get to this part of the story, people will know whether they're going to enjoy the game or not. I just have to get to that part of the story. And we're still not there. There he is. We just had to stand very precisely in the middle. So here it is, the Wraith. Very deadly. Basch has to be unarmed. We could equip him with the sword of the sword of the order here. But there, that spell there, Doom. Now watch what happens here. We're doomed. We cannot cleanse this. Our remedy will not get rid of it. There is no such item. You know how like you can use a gold needle to get rid of petrify? There is no gold needle for Doom. And look at how quick Doom is ticking. 7, 6, 5. So maybe we're getting 1 tick every 3 seconds or something. 4, 3. What happens when Doom runs out? In fact, Van's going to be dead before that anyway. So he's down. And Basch. He's dead. That's it. It's over. So that is a really tricky fight. Doom is AoE. It will hit everyone. And so we're going to need a new tool to get through that. You can do kind of weird things where you swap party members in and out. But for now, we will return later. I'm going to see you guys up at the Sand Sea. Just want to demonstrate how dangerous some of the marks can get if you try to do them instantly.
A lot of kids lost their parents in the war. Mine had already died before that. The plague took them both.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
It's okay. It's been 5 years now. After that, I lived with my friend Pinello and her family. Then the war came.
I am sorry.
You don't have to keep apologizing. Really, it's all right. I know it wasn't your fault. I see that now. You didn't kill my brother. It was the Empire. My brother trusted you. And he was right.
Well, I guess Van believes in Basch, and to tell you the truth, I kinda do too. But yeah, oh god, we were still on super speed a little bit there. So, we hear a little bit about a plague there. I don't think the game ever really touches on that any further. Interesting idea. And a little bit more texture as well. It'd be easy to just say Van's parents died in the war, but no. Just one tragedy after another. Hello, little Moogle there in adventuring gear. Balthier, can we have an airship?
As I said, a misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding? What I am understanding is it took Pinello because of you.
What? What about Pinello?
Oh, Vaughn, they've taken Pinello. And there was a note for this Balthier. Come to the Bhujerba mines, it said.
It's Brigamnon. He was in Albina.
If anything were to happen to that sweet child, why, I've her parents' memory to consider. You're going to go to her aid, and that's that. That's what you sky pirates do, isn't it?
I don't respond well to orders. You do know that the Imperial fleet is massing at Bhujerba?
Fine, then I'll go. You at least have an airship, don't you? Just get me there and I'll find Pinello myself.
I'll join you.
Huh?
I have some business there as well.
An audience with the Marquis, by chance?
Balthier, just take us, and this is yours.
The gods are toying with us.
Don't be silly, Fran. Why would the gods toy with you?
Make yourselves ready. We leave soon.
Right.
All right, so Balthier and Fran, why do I keep saying Fran? What is going on there? Fran, return. Bagamnon's note can only be referring to the Lucy mines in Bhujerba. We'll leave at once. Once you're ready, meet me in the aerodrome. I should imagine it's still by the west gate. We weren't in Albina all that long. Do be quick. I'd like to save your girl and be rid of this headache as soon as possible. Yeah, and you want the Magicite. Bagamnon's note, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. So, Bhujerba. I have been pretty glossy about Bhujerba so far. There's a lot of different nations we've been learning about and, you know, what's going on. So, there is... You know how we're in 4 continents, okay? The world map. Sorry, 3 continents. Let's explain. The big landmass to the top right is called Valendia. Another continent is Ordalia, which is the bottom left. Beneath us, the one I referenced in the previous video is called Kerwan. So 3 continents in which all these nations exist. There's actually an idea of a 4th continent, but it's not a normal continent, it's floating in the sky. There are these massive floating islands called the Pavama, way up high, some of which are actually so big they're continental sized. And so there's a floating continent nearby called Dorstonis. On Dorstonis is another nation. It's a city-state. That is Bhujerba, an independent, neutral nation. Think of them as like Switzerland in World War II, okay? And they are ruled by this guy, the Marquis Ondor, who made all these recommendations about the Dalmascans to lay down arms, covered himself with the Empire. Vossler does not trust him whatsoever. And here's the fun, which we saw in that cutscene a second ago. So Vossler has kept this guy at arm's length. What you might like to remember is that at the very beginning of the game, we need to go to the west gate here now for once, because this is where the aerodrome is. But you got to remember that at the beginning of the game, in his book, the Marquis said that King Ramenas, the Dalmascan king who died, the king was actually his dear friend. So once upon a time, Dalmasca was close to Ondor, but now everything's kind of gone to crap, and no one really knows who's a true ally. And that's why Vossler said, look, Basch, I got to treat you like I would any abettor of the Empire, just like Ondor. Basch himself told the Arcadians from his cell that he lived to silence Ondor. But again, we don't really know if that was a lie or what. So, Balthier is waiting inside, says Fran. If you've made ready, we can leave at once. He feels responsible for what has happened to your friend. Do not think he's in the habit of doing favors. Oh, I don't know. He seemed pretty nice to me. He did me a favor and a solid when we were in the dungeon. So we could, I just want to say, this is going to be another point of no return now. You've got all those different marks and bounties and things that you can do. You've got all different money you can earn and loot and stuff you can buy. I'm just going to move straight on in to keep the pace up. I mean, come on. There's going to be an airship here, right? We're Varn. We really want to see this stuff. So, priorities, people. So, this is the aerodrome. Map of Evilis up there. There are flights to Albina Fortress here. Good day, sir. This counter serves travelers willing to book passage to Albina. We have ships fitted with shops and amenities, or if you'd prefer to sleep during your journey, ships with private cabins. Whichever you choose, the price is the same. We will show you aboard as soon as you purchase your ticket. So for 200 gil, they will take us to the fortress. That saves us a teleport stone. The game kind of gives you enough teleport stones in abundance that you don't need to do this. But by going by leisure craft, you can actually travel on the airship itself and go out on the deck and have all kinds of fun. There's a side quest up there. We'll deal with that later. You'll see all these other desks where there's no attendance, mysteriously. It's Bhujerba says, you have come to book passage on an airship, friend. You can pay your fare at any of the counters you see here. Each counter serves a different destination, so it's as simple as finding the counter of the city you'd like to visit, you see. If a given counter is empty, that route is not currently in service, be it due to maintenance or what have you, and you will need to wait. So, what a coincidence. We've hardly explored anywhere in the world, and all of the counters are out of service right now, except one. Later in the game, we will have all kinds of airship destinations. Later in the game. So, what else? Well, we've got this Rabanastron here. You can book 2 kinds of passage. The first lets you take your time shopping and conversing. The second just has you sleep, which can be nice when you want to deal with distractions. There's a train in the UK. I think it costs a ton of money, but it allows you to get up to Scotland by sleeping, I think, the whole way. Kind of interesting. I've always wanted to do it. I know you need to go, just hold me a little longer. I've never felt more sad, more lonely. But Nalbin is so far away. I know you're going there for work, and I don't care. We could be happy here, just being together. Look at that, because we know there's loads of work at Nalbina. All these people are working. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It feels just like an airport, guys. And this guy's looking out. That's it. That's an airship right there, by the way. I love the aerodromes. Now look at these snobby bastards. These are Arcadians. The son says, we have our own airship. I don't see why we have to travel on a public ship. It's so slow and crowded. When the mum says, what's this? We've booked the finest quarters on the ship. Besides, I enjoy the thrill of traveling with the small folk. Someday you'll understand. You're going to get a sense that the Arcadians have a very rich, cushy life. Father, that's right, mother. Father wouldn't change that for... wait, what? Father wouldn't change that about you for the world. Lovely. Don't like those people. I'll resist the temptation to go on too much of a spree here. But over here we'll find Balthier. Rabanastion right here. You see that man standing in the waiting lounge? I think that's the Balthier, one of the most notorious sky pirates in Evilis. They say he's a brilliant pilot, that he's so brave he barely pays notice to the Imperials and headhunters chasing him. That's not all he's famous for, but the rest you'll have to wait until you're older. Oh, what, because of womanizing are we suggesting here? It's funny because we're getting so much hinting at his backstory, but what is his backstory? Why is he so blasé about the Imperials and so on? This traveler says, this is the last time I travel on a whim. I've never been anywhere more boring in my life. I can't wait to go home and relax properly. Home, sweet home, baby. Bhujerba's on the sky continent of Dorstonis. And the magicite mine we're looking for is in Bhujerba. There's two reasons to come here. Basch wants to find Ondor. We want to find Penelo with those bastards we saw stalking before. If we're going to save the girl, we start there. So tell me about Bhujerba. Don't get out of Dalmasca much, do you? Bhujerba is a small city-state that thrives on the export of particularly fine magicite. It's ruled by Marquis Ondor, who, by staying in the Empire's good graces, has managed to stave off Imperial invasion. Because they have airships, they could do it if they wanted. So, I'm ready. You do realise that once we've left, you may not see Rabanastre for a while. Once we leave, there'll be no looking back. Alright, now let me just... This is why I need to take notes. I'm pretty sure we're ready, guys. To the skies we go. We make for the Lucy Mines in Bhujerba. Seems like I've got more baggage in Rabanastre than I'd planned. Well, let's save your girl and be done with it. Come on. Yeah, I mean, he did a lot ever since we met him at the palace. So here it is. I consider the intro to the game done. We're still in Act 1, but we're in the game now.
Whoa. This is the Strau.
So any Germans watching the video, I think that is specifically named after like the German word for like beam or whatever. And there's a word for like slipstream or something, a German word. That's what the airship's named after.
She airship enough for you?
The straw. You really are a sky pirate.
Well, the headhunters seem to think so. What's a good word? Is she ready?
This is his crew. He has a crew of Mughals. Who, remember I mentioned, work the airships? They figured out sky stones and so on.
So is she armed? How fast is she? Could she take the Ifrit?
I suppose I could tell you, but... Wouldn't you rather see for yourself?
Could it take the Ifrit? That's a freaking Arcadian cruiser. There's no way it would take the Ifrit.
Fran, our course.
The shortest way is over Dorstonis.
How flies Bhujerba?
Oh, she's free as can be, for now. The Empire took notice when they announced the princess's unfortunate suicide and your untimely execution.
If it becomes known that I'm alive, the Marquis will lose their favor.
I try to steer clear of such things. Right, it's time to fly. And no wagging tongues or you'll like to bite them off.
I'm coming, Penelo.
So yeah, Ondor clearly publicly lied about Basch's death. If that secret gets out, everyone will know he's a liar, and he might lose whatever favor he curried with them. So we have to keep quiet about Basch. And Balthea's quick on the uptake. I like how Vaan has a much more simple story to follow, which is just, Penello's been kidnapped. I think that's actually really clever and important writing from the studio. Different people appreciate different levels of this. Now, in part 1, do you remember I mentioned a scene that got cut because of a girl being tied up? This is the scene. This is only available in the West. Japan had this removed.
You've seen to her feeding, yes?
I have, my brother. She eats well.
See that she does. We need her alive. Balthier's bait must be fresh.
I keep trying to tell you. I barely even know who Balthier is.
My brother, a message come from Rabanastre. The Strahl, she set sail. She makes straight for the sky city of Bhujerba.
Barely know, was it? Yet Alatracy goes bounding off for you. Tell me, how could that be?
That's what I'd like to know. I just met him that one time and that's
Does
it.
that tongue never stop? What if we plucked it from your head? As for you, we need Balthier alive. His corpse fetches but half the bounty.
A tender P10, my specialty.
There's no fun for it if we can't tease out a scream or two.
God, the quality of their voice files is just so bad.
Where are you?
We're coming, Penello. I'm so sorry. It's been ages since we even hung out with you. You know how I made her a white mage? Well, guess what? If you do that, you're not actually going to have the benefit of her for ages. And look, it's the opening shot of the old boot up cutscene. We're here, guys. We've made it. Ah, as a teenager, I was so excited to come to this place. A flying continent. There it is. This shot right here. This that means Final Fantasy XII to me in a nutshell. We're going to visit the neutrals with their hearts filled with neutrality.
Easy.
No good, he's not here. Keep searching. This way.
You're a dead man. Don't forget it. And no names.
Of course.
Who are they looking for? In fact, look, we can ask. By order of the Imperial Army, all airships are grounded. Passengers are asked to wait until further notice. Is that understood? Wait, why? What's going on? So the Bhujerbans, these guys are so well realized. Why can our civilian craft not fly just because the Empire says so? Badra. I filed official complaint, but I fear nothing will come of it. So this word Badra, right? I don't know how to pronounce it. This is a fictional word that kind of just gets inserted into what a lot of the Bhujerbans say. I don't even really know how to derive its meaning. It's a bit like Mughals saying Kupo, all right? It's just a part of their language, and you'll see they say it. There's actually a few weird little new words in their language. I really, really love this detail. And that's all there is to it. I think the devs said they were inspired a bit by, what was it, South African speech or something? But yeah, you've got random little words that get inserted in here every now and then. It seems like an exclamation of some sort. And you'll see them say it all the time. And yeah, these guys aren't ruled by the Imperials, so how dare they stop all these people? And these people live in the sky, all right? They're very familiar with Mughal craft and airships, and they have their leisure stuff. When exactly is my airship going to take off? It's hours past the scheduled departure time. Can't these provincials tell the time? Right, well, he's an Arcadian. I don't mind him being grounded. Nice little Mughal here, sitting down and enjoying the view. Oh, noes! I was shopping and I missed the flight for Rabanastre, Kupo. Suppose I'll have to wait. Look, I love the Mughals. They're so, like, chill and, like, easy breezy. The docent. Welcome to the aerodrome, sir. The East Evilis Company proudly offers passage aboard leisure craft on which you might shop and enjoy your flight. For those eager to reach their destinations, we also have ships with private cabins. You may book passage from the counters. Each counter has a different destination. So, yeah, the East Evilis Company, these are the guys that run all the airships. I guess meant to be a bit like the East India Trading Company. Or maybe a bit of an allusion to that. Street kids sitting on a box. Amba and Tata, they are too worried, I think. Why do we need so much luggage just to go on a trip to Rabanastre? Does that mean Mum and Dad in Bhujerba? I guess it might. These guys again. And they say the same thing again, I guess. Oh yeah, these guys are involved in a side quest later. Street Kid. Ha! That was a shock. I was watching airships fly back and forth when an Imperial grabbed me from behind. He was looking for someone else, not me. Okay, wait. They were looking for a little kid? Why? So not Basch then. That's good. Bhujerba's airships use a lot of Mooglecraft to fly so well. They're a good deal better than those heaps the Empire lurch about in Kupo. Just goes to show it takes more than gil to make the best ships in the sky, powered by the best magicite to be had anywhere. So yeah, we do have a Moogle crew, guys. You don't get many opportunities to talk to them, but we do have one. Or rather, Balthier has one, I guess. There's lots of Moogles living here in Bhujerba, Kupo. After all, it's Mooglecraft that's made this place what it is. I'm happy with that. Apologies, but we're having some difficulties. All scheduled airship services are suspended. There's nothing to see here. Move along. Not sure I believe that. So you will notice here that this is a teleport crystal. So again, this is very remote and way far away, but in the future we will just be teleporting in and out of this place anyway. Right, let's go on out into the town. Let's get a load of the views. Now we're actually floating over water here, by the way. We're not actually over any landmass. We're not directly above Rabanastre, so we're out at the sea.
The Lusu mines are just up ahead. Though, I do hear there's not much left there these days.
You're on your way to the mines? Then please allow me to accompany you. I have an errand to attend to there.
What manner of errand?
What errand? I might ask the same of you.
Right. Come on then.
What?
Excellent.
Do me a favor and stay where I can keep my eye on you. Should be less trouble that way.
For us both.
So what's your name?
Oh, I'm Lamont.
Don't worry. I don't know what's in that mine, Lamont, but you're in good hands. Right, Basch?
You moron! This is why people hate Vaan. Alright. Also, that kid stuttered when given his name. Wouldn't it be funny if Basch was lying about his name and so was this kid? Alright. Yeah, give that cheeky smile there, Vaan. Whatever, I suppose. So, we've got the Bhujerban Sainikars. You may see Imperials on our streets, Barja, but do not be alarmed. Bhujerba is neutral. Our ports are open to all. Great. Well, there you go. Look at it. Look at that. Oh, I love this place. And look at the Moogles just chilling out. Now, don't forget they've got wings, so they're chill. Little bat wings as well. Did you know that House Ondor has maintained Bhujerba's neutrality for ages, Kupo? You did? Well, did you know that Marquis Ondor's estate is up the steps across the bridge, Kupo? You did? In fact, yeah, so his estate is actually not far from here, right near the aerodrome where we enter out. What's this guy say? Did you know that Bhujerba is the freest city in all of Ivilis? His Excellency, the Marquis Ondor, treats with the Empire to ensure our sovereignty. It is most curious. I have lived here all my life, yet I often forget that Bhujerba is indeed a city in the sky. If one were to fall from here, Kastam. I guess that's Bhujerban for splat, everybody. I want to speak to some tourists who are enjoying themselves. I moved here from Rabanastre, you know. How startled I was to see the Imperials here on such good behaviour. Not like those cretins back home. Yeah, the oppressive bastards that keep us underground. Just goes to show how you get a big nation like that. It expands so much. People on the Heartland are very different to the people on the Outer Rim. It is true that where you come from too, that young boys love the sky. My son, he wishes to become a pilot when he's older. Ha! A pilot. Yeah, it's so good. Because, yes, I can very much imagine the culture among the youth in a place like this to be obsessed with getting their own airship and stuff. And yet it's true that Vaan, a kid from a friggin' desert down below, has the exact same ambition. Vaan is the weird one, really, I suppose, in that situation. Seeing the Imperials scurrying about. Insects they are. If I were the Marquis, I'd have given them the boot long ago. Yeah, that great diplomacy. Maybe you wouldn't have been neutral then. Bhujerba is not great in size, but as our mines are rich in quality magicite, so our lives are rich. It is a good place to live. Did you know that the best magicite may be used in many applications? It is the most wonderful energy source. There is none greater. So hopefully you guys are getting a really good impression now of, here's my opinion on the difference between 10 and 12. 10 had not as strong world building. Obviously, it had a very well realized world and stuff, but 12 has got a really, really authentic, very fleshed out setting that's got all this amazing stuff happening that feels a lot more adult and a lot more sophisticated. But so far, it's had less moments with the characters themselves. So it's kind of a give and take, you know, they're the yin and the yang of one another, I think. Bhujerba, seeing the Imperials scurrying. Oh, it's you again. What, you ran over here to crouch down, did you? Tell me, Barger, why is it that you have come to Bhujerba? No, do not tell me, for I already know. It is to see her architecture, yes? Many are the travelers who visit to us to see her arches and promenades, each built to take advantage of our most lofty position in the sky. This guy, an Arcadian wayfarer, that Ondor, he has the wow, I don't know the words, temerity? To turn me, a citizen of the Empire, away at his gate. He does need to be taught a lesson in humility, he does. Ondor's residence, just up those steps and to the left. You're not getting in, though, trust me. So wait, he's turning Arcadians away. So where do his allegiances lie? Let's try and go and speak to him. Beyond this point is the property of His Excellency, the Marquis. I'm so sorry, but I must ask you to leave, Barter. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, we're just nobodies, really. We're some scumbag sky pirates, and Basch is keeping himself quiet. How would we get up there? Look at that. Look, what a brilliant fantasy-looking city up there with all those towers and turrets. How would we ever do that? Well, I guess we'll deal with the Pinello issue first. And that will be in the next part, guys, as we explore the Sky City and head to these mines. And we learn a little bit about this kid that's tagged along. That seems abrupt, right? He's got very low health. But believe me, he's a boss in combat. I'll show you next time. Thanks, guys. See you soon.